All right. Hello. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We are here to discuss earth friendly events, how we can apply sustainable practices to the event industry. Today, we are chatting with Jeremy Cunningham from Green Paper Products. Jeremy is here to talk about compostability, how we're going to apply those practices to the event industry, and just give us a little bit more insight into Green Paper Products. So, Jeremy, welcome. How are you?
Hi, hello, I'm great. So thanks, I'm so great to be here. This is fantastic. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. Tell us a little bit about Green Paper Products.
Green Paper Products is a family-run company based out of Northeast Ohio in the Cleveland area. Um, we've been around since 2009. The company was founded originally as Secure Paper Products, and the founders of the company, Steve Sachs and Harry Goodfriend, we're doing a custom watermark company. They were doing custom watermarks for companies that were, using environmental papers and different things for businesses. Um, and they sort of, that had a small marketplace and not much traction, but they were in this paper industry and they were thinking about the world, and, they were fathers and grandfathers, and they were like, okay, we need to really do something. We need to change things up because we need to offer something that's a little bit more earth friendly than everyone's using disposable things everywhere all the time, and they all get thrown away constantly, and it's all just sitting there. One of the things we always joke about is like, hey, do you remember that birthday party you were at when you were like 5 years old and you had that drink out of that plastic cup? That cup still exists on this earth somewhere. Like that's sitting in a landfill somewhere. I mean, sure, it could have been recyclable and it could have been the 10% of things that ever get recycled, really. But the best bet is it's sitting in a landfill somewhere. So the company was really started to see like what is the solution to this problem? How, or at least a solution to this problem? There's no the solution to this problem. It's always a multitude of solutions. But offering the option to have compostable products and biodegradable products really just sort of helps close that cycle rather than going from make the thing, sell the thing, buy the thing, use the thing, throw the thing away. It's grow the thing from plants and earth, from fertilized soil and enriched soil and composted soil. Grow those plants, be it sugarcane or corn or whatever, and use those plants to make the plastic, to make the PLA, or to make the pulp thing. And then those products are made from plants, so they can go back into the cycle, in a composting facility and become enriched compost to help grow future plants and start the cycle all over again. Um, it's it's a really great company. It's one that I've just recently joined myself, and I've sort of like dove in with 2 feet on everything about it. Like the whole environmental aspect of the company, the whole compostability. Like I didn't know anything really about all of this compostable stuff and this lifestyle before I jumped in, and I've been researching it every day for months now, and it's fascinating, it's interesting, and I'm like, this I want to just shout to everyone. I'm like, this is it. This is how we stop wasting things, or at least this is how we fully utilize things in the end, or a way.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned the landfill and the evolution of, what happens to a piece of trash or a cup. And one of the facts that I had seen on your site was that there's 400 million paper cups used a day,
Every
and
day.
yeah, and majority of those are just sitting in a landfill just because they aren't compostable.
It's
So
true. The
yeah,
thing with paper cups that people they think like, oh, this cup's made of paper. It's made of pulp. It's recyclable or whatever. But what they don't tell you is that like Starbucks cup or that, McDonald's cup is coated in a very thin layer of plastic that makes
yeah,
the paper not, whatever. So that makes the whole thing really not recyclable. It makes it really tough for facilities to separate that plastic and that paper. And like the great thing about switching over and going to a pulp-based cup and a PLA-based plastic is then both of those materials are compostable. You can get them broken down. You can send them to your compost. Some things you can even compost in your backyard. And you can okay, this existed, and now it's actually back to the nutrients and, you know, the basics of soil and gets right back to the earth, and let's start the process over again. Let's not have it
Yeah,
just sit there forever.
yeah, it's shocking, and I love that you all are applying this to your business and thinking about this evolution from big start to finish, basically of what happens to a product, and also adhering to the consumer. The customer wants something that's aesthetically pleasing, that's easy, you know, and
Absolutely.
so this,
Sanitary.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, this combination of you know, impact on the consumer, but also, you know, making sure that the organization is adhering to sustainable practices, and then us evolving together with knowledge, I think is beautifully illustrated in what you all are doing. So I love that. Yeah. Chip bags was another thing that, you know, you can't recycle it because it has the metal lining
A metal lining.
yeah.
That
I also,
the thing I read about always is like, you read these recycling places and they're like, what's the number one worst possible, what's like the worst piece of trash, right? And they're like, well, those like, Pringles cans are tough because the top is made of plastic and then there's a foil lid and it's a paper tube and then there's a metal bottom and then there's the foil lined paper on the inside. So there's like 5 different materials all in one. And so they
right.
all just end up in a trash can because no one can facilitate that kind of thing. Chip
Yeah.
bags are the same kind of thing. That foil it, it
Yeah.
off to the trash can, off to the landfill or
Yeah.
the
Oh,
incinerator.
yes, it's really. I saw that you all also not outside of just cups and plates. You have utensils. You also have gloves, which that has been something that I've constantly thought about. Of just, you know, in this digital age where we're trying to be you know, very sensitive to cleanliness and sanitation. That gloves have, I think they've increased the plastic
Glove.
production by
Oh my
30%
gosh.
right now.
Gloves are getting used everywhere. There's like vinyl gloves, the plastic gloves, all these thousands of different types of plastics to make gloves. I had no idea. But
Yeah.
learning, that PLA gloves are out there, they're typically cheaper, especially than, these big like doctor's gloves, which we should be
Yeah.
saving for medical professionals. Instead, we just started offering these gloves and they became so popular. We're like, we have to find another supplier. So now we have a couple different brands of the gloves available and they're really great. I mean, for food service, they get used, but people are also using them at home. My wife and I have been using them at home. Like in the beginning of the pandemic, we lived in Manhattan and we were like, okay, well, we share this building with hundreds of other people. So let's use one of the gloves and then we throw that all in our compostable trash. We have this 5-gallon bucket back in the city
Yeah.
where everything goes, and there's a composting service that takes PLAs and plastics and things like biodegradable stuff, and it all goes in there with your food waste. So
Yeah.
we're doing what we can to minimize it all.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned a few different aspects of the benefits of composting. So we know that it's coming from a naturally sourced product, or, you know, item, and you know, chemical making, and then basically you're using it as a product, and then it can then return. So the evolution of this product starts and ends at the same place. Soil production. You mentioned economic growth, which I'd love to get into that a little bit. Pollution prevention, the reduction of landfills, you know, preserving natural resources. I mean, the list goes on and on of the benefits.
Absolutely.
If we want to talk, I think we've made a good stance for the positive impact that it has on the environment. How about people's pocketbooks? Like, what's a good thing about the not only just lifting up economies and providing opportunities for those that are looking for ways to generate revenue and generate income, but you know, what's the benefit there for consumers and organizations using products like these?
Well, I mean, the great thing about these is it's really the end of life and you know, we do what we can. Compostable products by their nature are slightly more expensive than traditional styrofoam or PET plastic or things, virgin plastic products that are made from oil and whatnot,
Mhm.
because they've been at it for a lot longer. The oil industry is huge, and they do what they can to bring those costs down, and that's what makes it really cheap. Um, but the compostable products are pretty competitive. I mean, you're talking not much more per individual item, and to know that that item can then go back and go to a commercial composting facility and just get used and go back into the soil process. I mean, here, in the Cleveland area, our local composter is this wonderful company called Rust Belt Riders. You should check them out. They collect, PLA, bagasse, biodegradable stuff, our gloves, our trash bags, our things like that. And they have started this amazing company in Cleveland where they collect all this. They collect food scraps from all the local restaurants. It all goes in there together. They have this new 3-acre composting facility where they go and they break all this stuff down. And these cups, a plastic cup that looks like any other plastic cup, the difference is one is going to be around for 1,000 years, and the other one can break down in a facility like at Rust Belt Riders in 90 days, less even sometimes. These things are made from plants, so they get to a certain temperature for a certain amount of time, and the heat, the moisture, the carbon, the nitrogen, and all the composting process gets together, and the cell walls of those things shatter, and they just disintegrate and become this amazing black gold, as they call it, the compost. And the great thing about Rust Belt Riders is they started as a small company like that, but they keep growing as this thing is going on. And they've now started sort of a sister company called Tilt Soil, where they're taking this compost and they're selling it to different growers, and they're providing it to some of their customers back. They get a discount on the Tilt Soil, and they have different kinds, whether you're doing home plants, whether you're doing gardening outside. It's fantastic to see how all these materials, when we don't waste them, how they can get used to help grow communities and grow vegetables, grow gardens at home. It's fantastic.
That's really cool. And I'm glad that you called out that plastic is made from oil. I think a lot of people just assume that oil is fuel, and oil actually is part of a lot of things that harm the environment. It's a pretty large industry that definitely requires some quick review of best ways to move forward so that we can be protecting our one Earth. So we only have one, so we should really make sure
it's the one we're on.
Yeah. You mentioned that impact, and I wanted to call out that Green Paper Products does buying in bulk, and I actually did some quick math on Amazon. So I looked at one of as an event professional myself, I really enjoyed the square line that you all have. It has very kind of classy, upscale.
A little bit more upscale and elegant. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, pre-pandemic, it was getting used at events all the time. Weddings constantly. We still are getting, these people are having, all over the country, people are having backyard weddings, very small gatherings, and they're ordering our plates for those weddings because they want to reduce they want to have people, they want to not do tons and tons of dishes. Of their own dishes, and they use these plates, and it's fantastic. And things like those square plates, they're bagasse, so they do a little bit better in a backyard composting situation. We use them here at my house, and I throw them in our compost pile now here in our place upstate. It's great, right outside. Just all our food scraps, those plates, greens, browns, stack them up, compost them. It's fantastic.
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah. And I was doing some math on Amazon, and it's actually, if you looked up just a 8-inch plastic plate, you'll see a lot of the kits that are available online. Yeah. And it's actually cheaper if you purchase through Green Paper Products for something like that. The plastic's actually more expensive. So I think there are some economic benefits. I think it's also just training the consumer to take a pause before it's easy to go to your preferred online marketer and just kind of click and
It is very easy to go to Amazon. I mean, they're growing every day. They're impossible to compete with. But, we are a small family-run company, and we do what we can to stay competitive. And I think that in certain aspects, we're more competitive than Amazon. Like you said, I mean, those party packs, they sell them and look real nice and cheap, but you're like, oh, that's convenient. And then suddenly you spent 50% more than you really need to, and on stuff that's made of oil or styrofoam. God, not styrofoam, please.
Yeah.
Styrofoam's the worst. I mean, PET plastic, that stuff can get recycled. At least it can go. There's a facility for that, but styrofoam is just garbage. It just breaks up into small, tiny pieces of garbage, and it never really goes away. It's the worst.
Yeah, there's a company we use in addition to our recycling company. I'm in Washington, and they basically will take styrofoam, this in addition company. So we have a company that picks up two different types of recycling and compost from our home, and so we've trash, recycling, compost, and then recycling that of materials that aren't actually recyclable, like styrofoam. And so this company will take styrofoam and make it into decking material. But yeah. I mean, that's, again, this is putting a lot of stress on the consumer to do all of this research, pay additional money to try to have this leave their house properly. And so I just really like that you're kind of cutting that out for the responsibility of the user. You as an organization are taking the responsibility on and creating a positive outcome.
We have been building a resource, and you can find it on our webpage at greenpaperproducts.com. You can find find a composter. We have a little compost thing on the side. And if you go check it out, we've just sort of built this nationwide list database of composters all across the country. And most of them take food scraps only or just gardening materials only, but a lot of them are out there. There's more growing all the time of companies like Rust Belt Riders in places all over, Atlanta and Nashville and Detroit and, New York and California and LA. Like, these companies are out there, but people don't necessarily know. And one of the things we really are advocating more is trying to make composting as big as recycling is, because we think it's better. We think it's an actual solution. And the great thing about compost is, by its nature, it sort of stays local. So all those things that are trash, they stay local and help grow your local area. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you go there, find a composter on our website. You can check out your state. You can check out your city and see. And if it's not there, and if you know of one that we don't have up there, please email us. Please let us know. We're constantly adding every time we find something. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anything. We're out there. Just send us a message and let us know, because we're all about finding those resources and getting them out there to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Because it only works if people get rid of it in the right way.
Yes. Yeah. I hope that we can continue promoting this. I think that it can make a huge impact with events specifically, because the event industry is definitely has tons of room for growth when it comes to sustainable practices. So if we're going to wrap up, I want to leave the audience with something cool and exciting that's going on. Is there anything that you want to share about Green Paper Products that's in the near horizon? I know you all are launching a blog and some resources. What's something you could look forward to?
So we've just launched a blog.greenpaperproducts.com. We got one article out there. It just came out last week. We're working on it. We love, guest bloggers, anything like that. We have a YouTube page now. We got it all going. But as far as things that the company is working on, what we're trying to provide is sort of small batch custom printing right now. We're sort of working on workshopping that and trying to figure out how we can do it, because so many of the customers that we work with are events, weddings, food trucks, coffee shops, and they may not necessarily be events that need a huge inventory, right? When you order custom printing, you got to order 50,000 cups. And unless you're having an event for 25,000 people, that's not really feasible. So what we're trying to do is be able to make it in a smaller pack size, so someone can just get 100 cups and they can have their company logo on it, and they don't have to order 50,000 cups. Because the other thing is, a lot of small coffee shops, especially food trucks, they don't have the space to store this stuff, right? They physically don't have the space for the inventory. So that's another thing that sort of sets us apart from a lot of the other retailers you're going to find out there, is that we have small pack sizes available. You don't have to buy a whole case if you can't store a whole case. And you can break up all the packs. So like you said, we have some party packs available, but if you just want to try a case of the bowls, or you just want to try a case of this, actually, if you just want to try something, we have free samples of everything. You go to the website, you click the free samples, you pick out 15 products you want to try. And, it's a small shipping fee, because shipping is shipping, but when you order over $89 on the website of anything, shipping's free. So It's, really something that we're all about. Shipping costs low, free samples, try everything you can. We want to
Cool.
get these products out there. We want to make people learn about them, and we're doing what we can to, make it easy for people.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Trash bags, straws. I mean, the
Trash bag
opportunity.
straws. We just got dog poop bags for your dogs. So many people have been emailing us, and they're like, "You have trash bags, and we have like the compost bin liner for our countertop, but my dog every day with these bags." And I'm like, "We're on it. We're gonna do it." And Aaron, our general manager, and I, we've been working on it, and we just found a supplier, and we got them up there now. So, gloves,
Awesome.
toilet paper, paper towels, anything you need in the events industry that we don't have, email us and let us know. We love to work with events people. We love working with event managers, and we love getting people what they need. We have tons of restaurants that are like, "Hey, you don't have this thing, but I need this thing." And they're like, "We'll get that thing. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll get that thing," because it turns out other people need that thing.
Yeah.
So we're growing. We want to grow with you. We want to grow with everyone. So engage with us. Let us know what you need, and we'll do what we can. We'll get it to you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's super exciting. Thank you so much for just sharing what you all do. Again, www.greenpaperproducts.com. That's where you can find the local composter that you can engage over social media. We're going to have this blog post on the LinkedIn page with Jenny M Events, and we'll just continue trying to, get the word out there, because this is an economical and environmentally positive organization to work with. I also love the partnership aspect, that you are a true advocate for the event manager too. So I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We want to engage with you. We want to get you what you need. We want to make your event go as fast. Our shipping is as fast. As soon as you get an order, a lot of the times, 3 hours later, we've packed it and it's ready to go out the door.
Cool.
Unless it's a busy day, then it might take us an extra day,
Yeah.
But check us out. Fast shipping, it's available. We'll get you what you need. If you need it overnighted for something, if there's a last minute thing, we will do overnight. We got the overnight available. So
awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy. It's been a pleasure meeting you. I can't wait to see more things that you all are doing, and check out at Green Paper Products. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.